talk about sports now. Give me a quick personal journey into sports, because we knew you as a minister of sport. We knew you as a promoter of boxing, Ghana Boxing Authority. We knew you as a champion of DK Poison, Azuma Nelson. But I'm sure that's just half of the story.
Well, girls love sports. They love athletics, they love football. But the one sport that they loved most,
the noble art of self-defense.
Self-defense, the noble art of self-defense, defending yourself to keep out of harm's way. And the way to do it with dexterity, the way to do it with skill, the way to do it with refinement. And that can give you a place in Ghana folklore. Rankreti abrochi, atukwe klote baba yeshon, jenoko ewo mode imboso, buko blahi nyefia shida. Yes.
Right, Rankreti abrochi.
Atukwe klote baba yeshon, buko blahi nyefia shida. So that gives you immediately a place in Ghana folklore, heroism. And that is our definition of heroism. Being able to show dexterity, being able to protect you being a man, being able to defend yourself. And it was sport. It was bare knuckle sports. Fighting without gloves was sport in the Ghana traditional setting. And it was done without any malice, without any ill will. Boxing, fighting, group fighting. One group from a session of Accra to another session. The rules were well defined, bare knuckled, and when a man is down, you don't hit him. Very fine rules. Rules of fairness. Rules that define a gentleman. Now, one group will go from Kpee to Asren. And you go there carrying the fist, knuckle on the head of a young man. They expected you to come this way. If they accept the challenge, they just remove the knuckle. They just remove the fist. And that is acceptance of the challenge. And then the fighting starts. Group fighting, you select an opponent and you don't wait for the other people to start. It's free fighting, bare knuckled, cuts on the face. After that, you all go as friends to the beach to apply the salt water on the wounds in relish. In relish. You come back from the beach, having washed the wounds, having dressed them very nicely. You know the victor and you know the vanquished. And for a few days, the ladies on the side of the victors will walk the corridors, will walk around Accra, heads up, with pride, chest out. And that was sports. Wow. And it was formalized with the coming of the British. They had boxing, but it fitted in very nicely, except that there were modifications to the fighting. There were new rules, started with bandages on the face, then gloves. Then we had very famous clubs like the Sparta clubs. The Sparta club produced Surprise Soa, produced Atukwe Clotte, produced Floyd Robertson. And these are really fine boxers. The way they box will tell you which club they came from. You can tell who is a product of Sparta Club. You can tell who comes from Bukum and Fase Club. You can tell. Vincent Okine was a brawler, he was a fighter. Atuku Klote was a boxer. He came from Sparta. He came from Sparta. We had Vincent Okine, Atuku Klote. We had Roy Ankara. He won the Commonwealth title in, I think, 51 or 52, the colonial time. In those days, the only way you can beat a white man and get away with it is to climb the ring. You know, there, no, you will not be arrested for beating the colonialists, you know. Just put the gloves on him and advise him very nicely, encourage him to come into the ring, and you can beat him the way you want.
So you're saying that boxing was part of traditional Ghana sports long before it was formalized, long before Don King and Muhammad Ali. So when it became formalized, the talent will obviously be there. Does that mean that in growing up yourself, you witnessed some of these group things, as versus basic type thing? You sort of...
Oh yes. Oh yes, I saw Asafu Achure. We call it Asafu Achure. Yes, Asafu Achure.
That's what it means?
Yes, group fighting.
Group?
Ano Achure.
One actually, that's the blue.
Anno actually.
Anno actually.
Anno actually.
And Asafu, is it youth or young or group? What does Asafu mean?
Asafu is group.
Group.
Yes.
So group boxing.
Group boxing.
Wow.
Yes.
So this is the type of system you grew up in.
Yeah.
So that suggests that for you, boxing
it was
your first sport.
It started before my time.
Obviously. But for you personally, boxing then becomes your first love. Because we are told Ghana football is number one. For you, boxing was what it was.
Boxing.
I see. I'll just sort of, let's deal briefly with Bukum, just as an area, because my teacher, when I was in class 5, Jordan Amate, is from Bukum. So as young as class 5, I knew there was something special about Bukum. And he used to tell us about the heroes from Bukum. Jordan Amarteifio.
Oh yes.
Yes, he taught me in class 5, and he sort of explained Bukum to us. But I wanted it was Bukum the center? Because
he was not Amarteifio, he was Amate.
So explain that. How come Gamashi preferred boxing and Bukum became the center?
Well, I cannot say this. I think other Ghana areas had similar, maybe not as popular as it was in Gamashi, but I'm sure because I knew some old boxers in La, you know, Yellow Fever we call them, Numobi Akronabi. Yes, he was a good boxer. Then, you know, so it was very popular in Accra, but it was practiced, I think, in other parts of Accra.
But Bukum was the center.
Oh yes, that was it.
In the pantheon of great boxers, Roy Ankara, will he be the first, or there were others before him? We're talking about formalized boxing now. I'm not talking about greatness now, I'm just talking about order of emergence.
Precedence. Yes. Other boxers preceded Roy Ankara. We had Jack Toller, we had Billy Wells, we had Billy Cote. Oh yes, Surprise Asoa. Yes.
These were all Bukum boys.
Oh yes.
So before I took your Clote and Roy Ankara, all these guys had.
Yes, they've been, you know, and then now incidentally, Billy Cote produced a son who won the first world bronze medal for Ghana in Havana, Cuba in 1974.
Oh, before DK poisoning?
75, I beg your
Because
pardon.
I know DK was 75.
No, that was amateur boxing.
Amateur boxing?
Amarkai.
As in the Olympics?
Yes. Yes, we have world championships. The first world amateur championship took place in Havana, Cuba. And Amarkai was the first African that won a medal. And he won it for Ghana, and he won it in the welterweight division. And he was a product of Sparta, just like his father, Billy Kote, was a product of Sparta.
And you said the Spartans were there?
Classical boxers.
And then the others were the
Classical
brawlers.
boxers. Amarkai will beat you. I took him to Germany, and he beat a German who eventually won the bronze in Montreal 1976. He won the bronze because Amarkai didn't fight in Montreal. Ghana and other African countries boycotted. Amarkai will beat you in 3 rounds without you touching him anywhere with one single punch.
So this is mastery of defensive boxing?
Defensive boxing, skillful boxing.
Long before Pena Whitaker, and now of course the rich Mayweather. Long before those guys.
Long before them, Amarkai was.
And this is of course Muhammad Ali's style as well.
Yes.
Where you hit and not get hit.
Talking about Muhammad Ali, I'll tell you about the negative influence of Muhammad Ali through Ammah on boxing here. Ammah.
Really?
Yes. Kpee was a product of Sparta Boxing Club. He had his tutelage, he had his training from another legend, Surprise Soa. Yes. Now, he became the main exponent of Spartan football, classical, beautiful boxing. Just defending yourself, protecting your chin, tucking in your chin, leading with the jabs, parrying punches, and then delivering the hooks. That's Sparta. And he was a welterweight, and he won wonderful fights locally. He went abroad, and he was cheated several times in Australia. Now, he fought for the Commonwealth title 3 times against a man called George Barnes. I think Barnes was the name. And each time he was cheated. Not only in our estimation, because he was our hero, but in the estimation of neutral, objective bystanders. Kpee was robbed. Now, years later, Azumah Nelson will go to Sydney, down under, and avenge that. And he did not know what he did for Accra, what he did for Ghana on that occasion. It was a momentous fight, it was a wonderful fight, but he avenged for Ghana the robbery of Kpee, who tutored him